Hello. Hello. I'm live. I'm sorry I'm late. I was trying to let people on Instagram know that the lesson was about to start, and I did left I did leave a message for them. So we can start now with the lesson 3 of the self-care revolution, as I call it, and it's all about emotions. For many people, this is a really difficult topic, and the reason it's so difficult is because we are not taught. We are not taught by our families or by our schools or by our communities to how to take care of our emotions. So they become a lot more complicated than they need to be. They become compounded. They become scary. They become source of anxiety. And that's because we don't know how to care for them in the first place. So this lesson I'm going to talk a little bit about what are emotions? Why are they so important for us? And how to take care of them. But most of all, before we get to that, I'm also going to talk about some myths or some wrong ideas about our emotional needs. And this is an area that is becoming a little bit more spoken about on social media and different lessons and seminars coming on emotional intelligence and emotional connection and some more complicated words like emotional regulation and dysregulation. For today is an introduction about our emotional needs. And the most important thing to break away those ideas that are not helpful at all. So if you start to do those things that are not helpful, you can stop yourself and give yourself a time to breathe and time to take care of your emotions in a healthier and more constructive way. So I'm happy to have any questions during the live session. It's so lovely to have the open space and hear from people as well. But if you can watch this later, you can also leave on the comments and I can get back to you. It would be lovely to have a dialogue about emotions and talk more about emotions. And I'm sure the subject is going to continue much longer than just this session. I want to continue talking about our emotional well-being and emotional health for many, many lessons, hopefully. So, what are emotions? I heard something the other day that I found really helpful. Our emotions, they have a very important role. They tell us if something from an environment or something that's happening is something for us to take in and say, yes, I want more of this, or something to push away and said, no, I don't want this anymore. This is upsetting me. This is hurting me. This is making me feel sick. So emotions can be seen as the sort of gatekeeper of ourselves. Okay. So we have our bodies as a boundary between ourselves and the world around us. And the body self-care, I talked about how important it is to take care of our bodily needs and our physical needs so we can feel safe in the world. But another level of taking care of yourself is the emotional boundary. So when we are healthy emotionally, we are very attuned to our emotions and we can say, yes, I am feeling happy about this, or I'm feeling scared about that, and I feel apprehensive about something. And those emotions can guide us in our day-to-day life. If these experiences we're having are safer, they are going to be constructive to us, or they're going to be something we need to push away and say, less of this. This is scary. But there is a bit of a complicated element in this, right? Not always our emotions are our best guides. And that's where it's super important to keep yourself in a regulated state. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. What does it mean being in a regulated emotional state? It means that you're still having your brain capacity, your rational faculties. Okay. If an emotion is too strong, in any way, shape, or form, we tend to stop thinking. We are just overwhelmed with emotion. And when we are overwhelmed, we cannot make sense if this emotion is actually real or if it's really magnified by our fear and anxiety. So, as I was saying, taking care of our emotions is super important because when we don't take care of our emotions, we can feel really out of touch with reality. But going back to what I was saying about being emotions being a guide for us. So our emotions can be this sort of gatekeepers. If something is pleasant and helpful, we can take that in. And if it's something that's making us feel angry or upset, we need to have a boundary and say, this is too much, this experience is too much, and protect ourselves in whatever way that's possible in that situation. So emotions need to be expressed. We need to be accessing our emotions to feel them and let them flow through our body and then move on to a next one or a different type of experience. The problem is with our emotional health is when we get stuck in a certain emotion and we can't get past that. That is very problematic because it consumes a lot of our energy. So the idea is that we can express our emotions and we can also find the meaning that they have. As I said, it can be very straightforward. I'm feeling content, I'm feeling stimulated, and I'm curious, I'm feeling open. Yes, we want more of these experiences that helped us to grow and feel nourished. We need them. If we are in a situation that's making us feel unsettled and scared and all that, we need to say no. So it can be very straightforward like that. The complication comes when we didn't learn these basic skills as children to be okay with our emotions. And we start to sidetrack into something I shouldn't feel scared because maybe you felt scared as a little child and your parents or your teacher said to you, look, there's nothing to be scared about. You stop feeling scared. You're being silly or you're overreacting. When our emotions have been accepted, we start to block those emotions or feel like I shouldn't feel this way because that means I'm not right. There's something wrong about me. And the shaming of emotions is what causes us to be confused. Is this emotion helpful or unhelpful? So, this is just an introduction about the realm of emotions, which is, as I said, very rich and we can learn so much from it. But I would like to talk about the myths or the wrong ideas around our emotional needs. They are very common, and I want to help you to um, see your emotional needs in a different way. So one thing people say is like, "There's nothing I can do about it. I'm feeling sad, and I am annoyed that I'm sad, or I'm fed up or frustrated that I'm sad, for example, because there's nothing I can do about it." That's not true. Let's imagine you're feeling sad, and your normal reaction for being sad is like, I shouldn't feel sad. There's nothing to feel sad about. I'm being stupid and I shouldn't feel this way, and all this negative talk about how you feel. So instead of saying, there's nothing I can do about it, you can say, actually, as this sadness has a place to be. I'm feeling sad for some reason. Maybe you're not clear. Maybe you have an idea why you're feeling sad. But instead of blocking that emotion and shaming yourself for having that sadness, you can say, yes, I am sad. It's not pleasant, but I have reasons for feeling this way, even though I may not know them. And that's already allowing that emotion to be and allowing expression within yourself. If that is possible, you can go to the level two, let's call it like that, which is what is the meaning of this sadness? What does it mean to me to feel sad at this moment in time? Is it to do with the separation I'm experiencing? Is it to do with a disappointment? Is it to do with the state of affairs in the world? Is it to do with anything, right? So giving a meaning or finding a meaning for you, which is going to be unique. There is nobody else can tell you what it means for you to be sad and why you're sad in that moment in time. And it's a little bit like finding a story or finding a narrative that can help you to make sense of your feeling and feel good about it. Feeling good about being sad sounds crazy, right? But when we have meaning, it gives us peace. And this is something I talked about before. How can we feel at peace even when we have difficult feelings? We can, if we have the meaningful experience of that feeling. Okay. So you never say to yourself again, there's nothing to do about it. There's always something to do about it. And that to do about your emotions could be just being expressing them and acknowledging them. And a lot of times that's all there is. Okay. And a continuation of this, there's nothing to do about it, is something around there is no point in feeling this way. This is a very, I think, a very Western modern way of thinking about things, right? At least that's what I understand. That, if something hasn't got a practical purpose, it shouldn't be. So, what is the point of feeling sad for months? What is the point of feeling excited about something because things can go wrong later? So, we have all these stories we tell ourselves that kind of block our expression or our experience of emotions because we don't see the point, or we are scared of making the meaning for that feeling. So let's say I start to feel excited about the summer here and feel happy that the summer is going to be great and the weather is amazing. And then I could stop and say, what is the point of feeling this way? The weather could change tomorrow and we go back to gray skies and rain and cold. And I could block my enthusiasm, my excitement for the summer. So I don't know what's going to happen to the summer. I don't know if it's going to be great or not. But in this moment, I could be feeling really excited and really enjoy that feeling of energy and outgoing and whatever. So the point of feeling that feeling is energizing you, is giving you something. You are feeling something and you are alive. So the point is to just feel the feeling, okay? And move away a little bit from this mindset that it has to be a purpose to how you're feeling. It's a difficult one to do. There is another point that is a very big misunderstanding, that people say, oh, if I let my feelings out, if I express my feelings, they'll be out of control and they'll get worse. So it's a fear of feeling. And that is the opposite of the truth. The reality is that if we don't express our feelings, if we block them and we try to push them away, they stay stronger and they stay alive for much longer than if we didn't do that. The problem is, yes, sometimes we have very difficult feelings or very scary feelings, and we can't do that by ourselves because we don't allow ourselves to go there. We created barriers within ourselves to not go to these difficult places because we don't feel safe. And in those situations, it is really important that you speak to someone, and not necessarily a therapist. If you have a therapist, of course, that's a good place to go for, but a trusted family member, trusted friend, and someone who you can talk openly about how you're feeling scared of feeling something. Because being with somebody else, they can usually take us out a little bit further than we could do ourselves. Okay. So you're not going to be out of control. It's the opposite. You're going to feel a release and you probably feel more in control of yourself rather than blocking it. Another very scary part of feeling your feelings is that people are scared of what they can do. So this is a very ingrained idea for some people, that if they feel any forbidden feeling, let's call like that, jealousy or envy, usually this type of feelings, or it could be sexual feelings if they feel really sexual and they have a strong desire sexually, or anything that they feel that is too much. They are also scared of what they can do when they have those feelings. So it's almost like they feel scared of feeling something because they will feel out of control and act on those feelings. And that is also very important to understand that that's not the case. You can feel your feelings and choose not to act upon them. And that is actually what happens a lot of the time, right? Let's say I'm driving and a person comes in and does something that annoys me. My feeling could be to get out and shout at this person because I'm in a hurry and I'm stressed and this person is just causing me a problem. Am I going to do that? No. I'm going to control myself and not do that, because acting on that feeling can make things worse, right? It could cause an accident, or I don't know, this person could react in a bad way. So my brain, my rational capacity can tell me, no, don't do that. Feel your feelings, but don't act upon them, right? But some of us have specific feelings that we feel more scared of, that we feel that we're not going to be able to control ourselves. And sometimes that's important to talk to someone about those too. But this equation, like I feel something, I have to do something, I have to act, or scared, I'm going to just take action based on that feeling. That's not real. That's a myth. That's a misunderstanding. Another one is that people may feel like if I have bad feelings, heavy feelings, sad feelings, sorry feelings, grief, or anger, I'm just going to make everybody miserable. So I don't express and I don't share my feelings. Yes, some people in our lives may not be able to hold us emotionally. They may not be able to offer us the space to express those feelings. But it's important to have anybody, at least one person in your life that can hear you when you have those feelings, those more difficult feelings, because, or unpleasant feelings, right? Because you need to express them and you need to feel they are okay. And if you don't do that, it is making you miserable, right? And I think it's this sort of idea that we don't want to bother people with our problems. But everybody has problems, right? Everybody has struggles from time to time. It's not normal to have a life where everything is fine. I think that's more worrying, actually. That, oh no, have everything under control, everything is fine. So it's not right to think that you're going to be bringing unpleasantness to other people. Yes, they may feel a bit upset with you, they may feel angry with you or sad with you, but that's life. Why would you exclude those unpleasant feelings from your relationship with someone? Okay, so try to take the risk and try to see who in your life can be with those, let's say, unpleasant feelings. And usually those connections can become so stronger and very crucial for you. Okay, next point. There are good and bad feelings. That's not true. All feelings are important. All feelings have a message for our life, for ourselves. They are not good or bad feelings. Some feelings are more difficult. Some feelings are a bit confusing. Some feelings cause a lot of distress. But it's because we haven't learned to take care of them, to allow them to express themselves, and to then move on. But there are no bad feelings or good feelings. In psychology, we know that naming and shaming feelings into good and bad or allowed and not allowed is the opposite of emotional intelligence and the opposite to emotional health. We really need to be able to say, yes, I have all these feelings, they're all part of me, and some of them are a little bit more unpleasant and some are more pleasant, but they're not bad feelings. Okay, there's nothing to be eliminated. Everything has a reason to be. All feelings have a reason to be. Another very common strategy to cope with feelings and to work with feelings that is not helpful is to imagine that we can lock the feelings away in a cupboard or in a box and hide them or bury them and push them away. And because we're not looking at them and we're not talking about them, they're going to go away. So let's say you have difficult experience with someone. This is like 10 years ago. And at the time, for whatever reason, it was impossible to talk about these feelings, or it wasn't safe to talk about these feelings about this person or this situation. And what you do is say, okay, I turned the page, I moved on, I'm doing something else, I'm not going to go there. Because if I don't go there, it disappeared. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. And those feelings that have been unexpressed or have been denied or dismissed, they cause us a lot of problems. They drain our energy. They are working our subconscious mind and they are causing anxiety, sometimes causing depression and or bursts of anger or being disconnected from life. So it's very serious when we don't release and process and create our meaning out of our feelings. This is a lot of work, right? If we've been doing that for a while. But it's very important to start to, from time to time, to have time to reflect and see, is there anything that I left unfinished? Do I still have those feelings? Is there have they changed, or what can I do about my own journey in life that has been unfinished emotionally? Is really important from time to time to do this work. And another one that I feel it could be very controversial, but I think that depends on people's beliefs and beliefs of, what are we doing here on the planet Earth, right? Some people believe that having certain feelings are bad karma or sin. They are sort of going against um, the will of God or the will of the universe. So people can be very, very hard on themselves when they have certain feelings that, from their point of view, is not right to have. Okay. So if they feel they have, I don't know, feelings of jealousy, and in their belief system is bad karma to be jealous of someone, that is a difficult dynamic, because that goes back to everything that I've been talking about, that certain feelings are allowed and certain feelings are forbidden, and they're not good for us. So if you have a strong belief system that, you know separates feelings into acceptable or not acceptable, I would question that and see how can you work within that belief system to take care of your emotions, even if they come up, and not shame and punish yourself for them mentally, because it can actually damage your emotional well-being if you feel that certain feelings are not allowed. Okay. And as I said, one thing is to have the feelings, other things is to act upon them. So, yes, there will be consequences if you act upon your anger and you become destructive. Of course, there will be consequences not just from the spiritual point of view, but maybe from the police or your neighbors or whoever you are involved in this violence outburst. Of course, there are consequences. But as I said, we need to separate our feelings from our actions. In our mind, be able to feel feelings should be a free space, or at least allowing space to feel them and to name them, and to find the meaning, find what they're doing there and what's there for. So these are the sort of main points that I remember that are not helpful to look after, how not to look after emotions, right? So what can we do to help ourselves with our emotional life? As I said, the first point is to allow them, to challenge yourself when you start to edit your emotions or edit your feelings. You have reasons to feel the way you feel. You may not know the reasons, but you have. So if you have anything to take away from this lesson, is that all your emotions can be welcomed. They can be part of you without punishing and without shame. And as I said, if something is a little bit more difficult, you may need to talk to someone. And I'm here to answer your questions or to share a bit more of how can you take care of your emotions. So yeah, I hope this is helpful. And if there is any questions, I can try to answer now. But if not, I'm gonna leave for today. And I look forward to hearing from you soon. Next week, we're going to talk about mind self care and how our ideas and our belief systems can help us or can make our life more difficult. So I look forward. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Vanessa. It's nice to see you here. Oh, thank you, Eric, as well. Thank you.